This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Volkswagen says it wants to knock off Tesla as the #1 EV maker in the world by 2025. We'll see about that. But CEO Herbert D. says VW's BEV business will be as profitable as its ICE vehicles sooner than expected. But he didn't say when. VW previously said it expected BEVs to match ICEs in profit in 2 to 3 years. But here's what we'd like to know. No doubt Porsche Taycans and Audi e-trons that sell for high transaction prices are profitable. But what about the BEVs from the Volkswagen brand, Skoda and Seat? We'd love to see that broken out and compared to ICEs. Lordstown Motors just got a major lifeline. It finally sold its assembly plant in Ohio to Foxconn. That means it does not have to repay Foxconn the $230 million that Foxconn already gave to it. Investors love the news. Lordstown shot up in after-hours trading. But even so, Lordstown still needs to raise another $150 million before it can get its electric pickup truck into production. Originally, that truck, called the Endurance, was supposed to be in production last fall. If Lordstown had been able to keep that schedule, it would have beaten the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Rivian R1T to the market. But right on the heels of that Lordstown and Foxconn announcement, Fisker confirmed that Foxconn will make its entry-level model, the Pear, at that assembly plant. Fisker expects to make 250,000 of them a year once production ramps up. The Pear will start at just under $30,000, not including any incentives. Henrik Fisker says one way the Pear will appeal to customers is that it's going to have, and I quote, a wraparound front windscreen inspired by a glider plane glass canopy enhancing frontal vision, end quote.
At Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility, manufacturing smarter, reducing CO2 emissions, making energy production clean. Schaeffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
There are a few key reasons to start a business in Michigan. First of all, it's the talent. Second, Michigan is wired for winning. Third, the ecosystem here is really focused on supporting businesses in the market.
The emissions given off while painting a vehicle is pretty nasty stuff, which is why the BMW Group is working to make the entire process more sustainable. It's incorporating a couple of new solutions from paint supplier BASF. The first is a matte paint that uses waste from sewage treatment plants as its starting material. This allows it to replace things like naphtha in the paint, which is a highly flammable oil that contains hydrocarbons. In addition to that, 2 of BMW's plants are also using sustainably produced corrosion protection. That's what's in those big bass cars are dipped into that help protect their bare metal. BMW says these 2 things reduce the CO2 emissions from paint production by more than 40%. Cadillac is offering some pretty sweet benefits for anyone who orders a Lyriq in China. They'll get a lifetime warranty on the vehicle and its EV propulsion system. Not impressed? Well, there is more. They'll also get free charging for 3 years and up to 1,200 kilometers per month. Impressed yet? No? Okay, Cadillac will also throw in a free home charger. And if they don't want that, it will give them another 8,000 kilometers of free charging over those 3 years. What do you think now? Want more? Geez, you people are hard to please. But okay, Cadillac will also give them $2,200 for a trade-in, their choice of 3 exterior colors at no additional charge, 50 Gs of free 5G connectivity, OTAs for life, and a bunch of other little things too. I think you should all be impressed by now. And these are not separate from each other. They're included together. We didn't realize it was that old. Mercedes is celebrating the 55th anniversary of the AMG brand. And to mark the occasion, it's releasing a special edition version of the AMG CLA 45 Coupe, and it will only make 55 available in the US. While it is exclusive, the main differences are the black metallic paint, special AMG badging, and 19-inch wheels. Hyundai and its AV partner Motional say they're going to launch an autonomous Robotaxi service in the US in 2023, and they're going to do it using these decked-out Ioniq 5s with SAE Level 4 capabilities. They plan to work with ride-hailing providers to deploy the vehicles in major US cities. The first rides to the public will be in Las Vegas, with more to follow after that, and then it plans to expand globally.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Subaru announced it plans to build its first dedicated EV plant. It will be located in Japan and initially build gasoline and electric vehicles starting in 2025, and then in 2027 it will be EV only. It will export EVs to the US, and on top of that, Subaru will invest $1.9 billion over the next 5 years to bolster its EV lineup. But we find it curious that the EV plant will be located in Japan and not in the US. Subaru sells more vehicles in the US than in any other market, including Japan. And we know that Subaru USA has been begging for another plant in the US for years. Boy, does the auto industry today look a lot different than it did in 2019. Just 3 years ago, the global industry was knocking on the door of making 100 million vehicles a year. Then the pandemic hit, followed by the chip shortage, followed by soaring inflation and a war in Ukraine. LMC Automotive reports that the global annualized sales rate in April was only 67 million vehicles. And let's put some perspective on those numbers. That's a drop of 33 million vehicles, about the equivalent of the US and the EU market put together. It's the equivalent of shutting down 132 assembly plants, around 132 engine and transmission plants, at least 50 stamping plants, and countless supplier companies. We think it's safe to say that it's affected at least 1 million jobs around the world. We already showed you Lincoln's concept car called the Star. It's got all kinds of really cool features. But do you realize how significant this vehicle could be? Lincoln is literally ripping up its design book and going off in a new direction as it transitions to electrics. And the Star is signaling what that new look will be. So how far will Lincoln take the new look? That's what we'll be talking about on Autoline After Hours today. Kamal Kurik, the new head of design at Lincoln, is our guest. So join John and Gary, as well as Keith Naughton from Bloomberg, for a deep dive into how Lincoln plans to transform the way its vehicles look. But that wraps up today. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. And by Schaeffler, we pioneer motion.